right, I'm recording. So, first of all, Jay, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Like I told you before, I am a huge fan as well. Pedro likes very much Frenzal Rhomb, and we are journalists for a huge Brazilian website, like I told you, called
Yeah.
Cultura in Português, the name. I think that in English is headquarters, something like that. And my name is Fabiano, and the name of this guy is Pedro. And we have a couple questions about the new album and about the whole band career as well. And
Yeah.
the first question that I want to ask for you is about the new album, The Cup of Pestilence, that you delivered to us. His technical melodic hardcore and with a lot of great riffs and this kind of stuff. So I would like to know first, if you take if you had if the band had different kind of influence to this album or something like that.
Oh yeah. So I guess when we first started the band in like 1993, we had a guitarist who our guitarist Ben, who he wrote some very dumb riffs, and I really liked them. And then on this album, I thought I don't want to let Lindsay, our guitarist, to like write the riffs because he's like very good, and so I wrote a lot of the riffs because I'm not very good at guitar, and so and like I wanted to write like real dumb like riffs that like yeah that I really like, and also I guess yeah we sort of not really listening to anything particularly differently, but definitely we wrote a lot of songs for this record. So we wrote I think 60 songs
Mhm.
for the album. And like we demoed all of them, we recorded all of them at my studio. And so we then like we have this like spreadsheet where we go through and we vote for all the songs, and whoever like if any song gets 3 votes or more, then it's automatically on the record, and anything less than that is like not on the record. And so that's sort of how we do it. So yeah, not really influenced by like we just kind of write a lot of music and then kind of work it out at the end.
All right. You told me that you're a little bit humble to play the guitar or read this kind of stuff, but talking or but singing the songs and it's amazing, man. I like very much your melodic vocals, something like that
Oh,
you
thanks,
deliver
man.
to us. Man, this is amazing. One of my favorite bands ever, mainly because your vocal, man.
Oh,
I like
thanks, man.
to listen to you singing, you know.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're trying, like I've been trying to work on the 3-part harmonies, and we have like a new bass player from like maybe he's been playing with us for like 3 or 4 years now, but since the last record, and he's a very good singer, and he used to sing lead vocals in his last band. And so yeah, I've been trying to yeah make sure that like because the songs are so short,
Mhm.
and so trying to make them like catchy or memorable is like important to me.
Thanks a lot. Pedro has another question to ask for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have a long time relationship with the Blasting Room, right?
But
And
yeah, yeah.
we'd like to know how was the production of the new album together with Bill Stevenson and his team? And
Oh
if
yeah,
you,
so, yeah. Sorry.
no, so sorry. Yeah, and if you have recorded more albums there.
Oh yeah, so we recorded the last I guess three records now with him.
Mhm.
And yeah, every time we go there, like, well, the first time we went there was in 2011 for the Smoker at the Pet Food Factory record. And that was it was a big step up for us in production wise. Like the records before that, like they were okay, but they didn't sound anywhere near as good. Like once we were working with Bill and the people at Blasting Room, like it was a big step up production wise. So we felt like we don't want to go anywhere else now. But yeah, he's like Bill is like a he's all about vibe. So he's like that bass is like not gnarly enough, or like, and he's sort of like a kind of got an overarching sort of feel of how the record should sound. And then the other guys they've got like these wild like dog ears where they like can hear things like that normal people can't hear and stuff. And then Bill kind of doesn't care about that stuff. He's like I just wanted to sound punk rock.
There's not this audiophile stuff in punk rock, right?
Yeah, but I guess they work well together, like the team at the Blasting Room. Like they're like, some guys have very specific kind of skills and abilities, and then there's Bill and Jason have a very they know exactly what they want to hear. They just they want to hear like it like punching through, and especially for like drums. Like I think the Gordy like plays so well, then like the drums on this record are like wild. Like the way that they sound is really good, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, I would like to take a chance and ask you your personal opinion about that. You just told me that Bill has this thing like he wants to sound more punk rock, and I don't want to like be so
Yeah.
serious about it. Yeah, but do you think like the punk rock has this charm about being like uh, not too well recorded, or do you think it deserves a better production? Because for example, when I listen to Black Flag's Damage, I always think like this could be. I think it misses something like about the production. If it could be re-recorded, I think it would be really better. But it has this charm of being hardcore and
Yeah.
bad recorded.
I mean, I guess it comes back to songs. Like if the song is good, then it sort of doesn't matter how it's recorded. For me
Mhm.
anyway, like if the song is good enough. But then when you're in the band, you want it to sound as good as it can. And I think those records that we all love from that era, like Black Flag and stuff, where I think it was like they recorded like that because they couldn't afford to sound any better. And at the time, and like whereas we have the luxury of being able to go to the Blasting Room and make this record that sounds really good, but also you have to fight against making it sound too good. Like I feel like our last record, the High Vis High T record, like sounded a little bit too good for me. Like they sort of edited the drums a lot, and Lindsay used these guitars called Evertune guitars, which they never go out of tune, and like you can kind of turn them on and off, like, but basically they just stay in tune for the whole record. And for me, like, can you imagine like AC/DC with Evertune guitars? Like it would be terrible.
Yeah, sure.
So on this record, we just got him to play his like SG that he's always played, and tried to make it sound more natural. And like I don't like using auto tune or anything on my voice, so I like to like give me like 20 goes at it, and
Mhm.
I'll be able to sing it in tune eventually. But I think it always ends up sounding better if
Mhm.
you do it more naturally, I guess.
Jay, I would like to talk a little bit right now about the lyrics, the Frenzal Rhomb lyrics. That I always
Oh, yeah.
realize that the Frenzal Rhomb delivered to us a lot of sarcasm about our daily grind, or a lot of criticizing about the food industry or stuff like that. I remember for sure that he said, like I told you, that the second album there is the McDonald's destroyed, something like that.
Oh, which one? Sorry.
The McDonald's destroyed, the second
Oh yeah,
album,
yeah.
the cover art of this album. So I would like to know how is the process of the compose the lyrics about this
So
album.
we live in so where we are here is in this like part of Sydney where we have all these pretty interesting neighbors, like people that live around us. And so like a lot of the influence for lyrics comes from just people that we come across and stuff. And like I said, we wrote like 60 songs, but then a lot of the songs, like the 19 songs that made it onto the record, were happened to be about the people in our neighborhood. And so like I just find like, yeah, like lyrics kind of if you try to write lyrics, it's very difficult. But then if you just wait for things to come to you, then you're like, oh, I could write a song about that. Like, and yeah, I mean, there's always, I mean, I've always tried not to be too preaching, preaching like with people, like to try and like yelling at people about politics or whatever is like doesn't really necessarily change anything. But if we like include people with humor or like jokes or whatever, then we can actually say some serious things and within like that world. And yeah, I don't know, this record, yeah, a lot of it is about the people like that we know in our neighborhood, and all the people like Laneway Dave and My Neighbor Is Planning to Kill Me and Dog Tranquilizer, and like all these songs are all about things that are happening in my neighborhood. Like,
The Frenzal Rhomb used to talk a lot about the animal rights and stuff like that. Kind
about
of
the
the
what's sorry?
animal rights about
Oh yeah,
the. Am I correct?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
Uh, can I move to the next question? Sorry, I think I just
Oh, that's all
interrupted.
right. But just on the topic of animal rights, so
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're still very much a part of that, and vegan and vegetarian and all that stuff. Um, which I imagine is like less so in Brazil, maybe, but there's like a lot of yeah, we still like our guitarist and our manager and our first guitarist, like they would like chain themselves to pig farms and chicken farms and call the police on themselves, and like very militant, like was and stuff, and be very militant. But it's again, it's like one of those things where if you yell about it and scream at people about it, then people maybe won't listen. So it's yeah, something that we hopefully people that come to see the band will realize that we're our lifestyles and think about it. But yeah, we don't like screaming about it.
Mhm. Yeah, I really feel like punk rock like tends to go like to the angry side or to the acid side, you know. So that's an interesting point of view. You said you like to yell about stuff and rather go to the humor part.
Yeah, we try and do both in a sense, I guess.
Yeah, about the area music award, you guys have been awarded in. I think he had the date here, but he hasn't. I want you
Oh,
to talk a bit about the area music awards.
oh yeah.
How is the value like in Australia to be in this awards? How is the prize means anything for you?
I mean, it's like the Australian Grammys, but it's like it doesn't really mean very much except to your like maybe your like distant cousin or uncle who doesn't know anything about music. And then they're like, "Oh, you got an ARIA award," which we actually never have. We've been nominated like 6 times, but we've never won one.
I thought you had. Yeah, I just looked up yesterday about these awards and I just had so many videos of extremely popular artists like uh, SIA, like Katy
Oh
Perry.
yes, yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
All right,
yeah.
Jay.
We've been a couple of times, but oh yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry we were talking about
That's
the.
cool.
All right, Jay. I would like to know because, like you told me, the band has I think that he's 30 years old, and like
Yeah, thanks
body,
for reminding me.
yeah, man, like Body Jar and Body Jar and the Living End, two great bands from Australia as well, and you the Frenzal Rhomb, like these bands, like I already told you right now, are classical punk rock bands from your country. So I would
Yeah.
like to know how is going the relationship around these years, around the between the bands, the band member, and the energy. How do you have a lot of energy to release new albums and to make tours, something like that, because it's 30 years old, a lot of
Yeah.
time, and the band is
So
keeping delivering to us great materials, great albums, and
I basically just kicked out everyone that I didn't like in the band. So now it's just me. No, we've been like so Lindsay and Gordy have been in the band for like 25 years, I guess. So, but I'm the only original member. But yeah, we've a lot of it has to do with just friendship and the the shows, like playing the shows, concerts, like gigs is like keeps us going. It's like always like the audience is very receptive and very kind of like always seems to be a reason to keep playing. And then yeah, all those other bands, like we get on good with them. We probably get on better with them now than we did back in like 30 years ago. But yeah, we see them sometimes at sometimes they have those kind of 90s nostalgia festivals, and we see them at that. But yeah, we see them like around the place. But yeah, they're all like, really good guys, and everyone's been doing it for a long time, I guess.
yes, like we were talking before our interview, and I would like to know, for sure you told me, but I'd like to record it. Your will to travel to Brazil to make a lot of gigs here in the country.
It would be amazing. Um, but yeah, like I was saying before, it's like it's expensive, so like we would have to know that like people were going to come to the shows, I guess.
Yes,
Like
and
there will be more than 20 people.
yes, and I would like to know as well if you know of some Brazilian bands or
I'm shamefully unaware of a lot of Brazilian bands.
all
And,
right.
do you think more than 20 people would come to a show?
more than 20, of course, of course.
40?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of concerts here in Brazil that are like smaller, but they feel a lot realer than like huge concerts. I've been to Sepultura here in Brazil in a stage called Circo Voador. It's like a small, really small stage. Man, it was the I think the best show I've been to my life. Like so real, man. The vibe
Yeah.
there. Yeah, and Andreas Kisser even met people he knew like in the audience, like so
Yeah.
there's different kind of concert. You don't have to make like a stage event to to be good.
And we would come if we knew that there was going to be like 400 people.
Yeah, for
Is that
sure.
too many? Is that too many?
For 400.
400? Do you think 400 people would come and see us in Brazil?
Yeah, I think so. Do you think, Fabiano?
Yeah, I think that this is a lot of money, man, here in our country. Even to
Yeah.
travel to the country, it's expensive for us.
Mm.
And man, everything is expensive here because we pay a lot of taxes or something like that, you know, and everything is expensive here.
Yeah,
And
it's
Jay,
expensive.
yeah,
Okay.
Jay, I would like to ask for you right now the influence that Frenzal Rhomb has. A lot of I know that you melodic punk rock bands like Bad Religion, FX maybe can be
Yeah.
some influence for you. So I would like to know the other
So, yeah,
influence.
the bands that we really the reason that we started were bands like this, the Meanies, who we're actually touring with at the moment. The Meanies and another Australian band called the Hard-Ons, and bands like that, and Cosmic Psychos and Splatterheads, and there were a lot of Australian bands that were touring at the time when we were growing up, like as teenagers, that were playing, and we would go and see them and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, this is what I should be doing with my life. And then after that, got into more of the American stuff like Screeching Weasel and yeah, Bad Religion and Face to Face and all that stuff. And yeah, that was sort of what set us on the path. And like all that like early 90s Australian stuff, like I still mine all that stuff for like melodic ideas, and yeah, I still listen to all that stuff.
That's great.
I had this band right now in my head for some reason, Screeching Weasel. For some reason, I was thinking about this band when you were answering.
Yeah, they were a very important band for us, like Screeching Weasel and the Queers, and just that sort of like we all love the Ramones and stuff, but those bands like were way faster and sort of was singing about some really crazy shit, and like you could sort of feel like you could do anything and you could sing about anything. And yeah, but I've always loved pop tunes and stuff. Like I grew up listening to like the Cars and the Eurythmics and Howard Jones and all the 80s, like early 80s stuff when I was a kid. Talking Heads, and they all had like really big choruses. Like I always loved like big choruses that were kind of catchy and for whatever reason, and a lot of harmonies and all that stuff. And then Bad Religion came along, and very like a lot of big harmonies, like 3-part harmonies and all that stuff. So yeah, I've always been very, very interested in all that stuff.
Yeah, like catchiness is like a factor like in punk rock. Like what I feel like is like bands try to sound a little catchy, right? Most of the times, there's a song by the Descendants called Schizophrenia from that Blue album. I think is, I forgot the name right now, but
Yeah,
from what I heard, the band doesn't like this song because it doesn't sound catchy, like 6 minutes long. And there are people like
yeah, right.
for the song jazz punk. There's people that say,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's like a jazzy punk song," so they didn't like the song.
yeah. I mean, every band has songs that they don't like. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Descendants were another very important band, because I guess in the early 90s we never before Spotify and stuff, like we used to, like, because Australia is very isolated, and so we would have friends that would go to LA or New York or whatever, and they would come back with like a milk crate full of records, and then those records would be our whole music for like a year. And so that was where we heard like all like, yeah, Screeching Weasel and Bad Religion and Descendants and all that stuff. It was like, we'd listen to it like religiously, or you get a tape or something. And so yeah, it was all that stuff was very important music for us. And it was also kind of simple in a way. Like it's like there's not a lot of chord changes, so like for someone that can't play guitar very well, it was kind of easy, to try and do it.
That's
Mhm.
great. Pedro has the last question because I think that the time is over.
But yeah, no worries.
The
Yeah.
brother time question.
When I was listening to the last album, out of curiosity, I was thinking, by any chance, like the song Bird Attack that starts the album off, is influenced by the film Birds by Alfred Hitchcock, and also does cinema has influence in your music?
So that's a hard no. But thank you for trying to intellectualize our music. But and actually that song Bird Attack, which is also not on our last record, but it's on the Smoker of the Pepper Factory record from 2011. But that song was written when I was pushing my then 1-year-old son around the neighborhood. And in Australia, we've got these birds called magpies. I don't know if you know about magpies, but they're like vicious and they'll like swoop, especially when they're breeding, and they'll swoop down, they'll like hit you in the head, like they're hectic birds. And yeah, so I wrote the song Bird Attack about the magpie.
All right, man. Jay, thanks a lot for this interview. It was a pleasure for us.
Hey man, I hope that you can get something out of it.
Yes, I'm sorry again for this, the internet and this.
Oh man, no worries. It was good to talk to you guys.
All
Your
right,
bad English too, and that stuff.
I will stop the recording. Yeah, I
anytime
stopped
you
the- No, you can
anytime
say.
you anytime you guys come to Australia, look us up. You can stay with us. Don't worry. We'll take you to the beach. We'll take you surfing.
Yeah, surfing, maybe ride skateboard as well.
Do you
Yeah.
And
surf, Jason?
No
like
way.
you,
No.
like you talked before.
No, I snorkel. I like snorkeling.
All right,
Yeah,
like you,
just like looking at fish.
like you talked before, the Frenzal Rhomb, there are a lot of Brazilian fans. So I would like to know if you had some message to give to them, something like that.
My message to you is: can one of you, just one, we only need one person, organize us a tour in Brazil?
All right, man. I hope to try to do it as well in the future.
Yeah.
Like I used to do it because it's
Just one person. That's all we need.
yeah,
I
me.
feel, I feel, I feel like we're responsible for that right now, Fabiano. I think that's like,
Yeah, that's on you.
It will be like let me say a
On
great.
you, Pedro. If it does not happen, then it's because of Pedro.
Right.
It's Pedro's fault.
oh, it's on me, man.
Yeah.
Jason, thanks a lot. I will stop the recording and we can keep it talking after it if you want. All right.
What's that, man?
I will stop the recording and if you want, we can keep talking about the things if you want.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I better go. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for this.
Thanks, man.